welcome yet again to this episode, Women in Business. I'm Doreen Kemcha on Smart 24 TV. On this particular episode, we are still here talking to Josephine Watera, who is amazingly very keen on women economic emancipation, empowerment, and also is very keen on the research. So we're talking about evidence-based research. What is there? What is happening in regards to Uganda's current women emancipation or empowerment? Josephine, you talked about something just before we broke off for the break, yes? About harnessing the networking.
Yes.
And this is really working, especially when it comes to, for example, the funding, but also the mentorship and all these different support systems being given. One, because they say it is much better to harness all these different efforts together, the resources, this one brings this and this one brings that, they keep themselves glued.
Yes.
Areas such as, I think most financial institutions down, many of them in the villages, really to be able to lend, I think even down in the urban areas, you must have been vouched for by another 5 or 6 women, that you will not run away with the money. When we are talking about support, for example, we get to also notice that even as we are our #1 support system as women, which is something we treasure, because we can meet up wherever we are, whether it's on a bus, whether it's in the garden, and talk and give each other all the psycho, all this support and everything, but even the money and the help and all this. But we also notice, just like one person mentioned one time and said, there is also that inclination for the person to cling on to certain information, to give you a different picture of how good her life is, and yet she is in what shambles. She is breaking up inside. Husband is beating. Husband has taken up the money. Family is, and she is presenting that front that everything is okay. This especially happens, not necessarily cutting across, but there's been quite a lot of that in the urban spaces. Especially within these the different circles, the different investment clubs. Sometimes that is what others say. This is still hearsay, but still it's true. Because it happens, and you get to know that it happens. So even as we reach out for support, how does it get to that point whereby, how am I able to reach out and tap into your zeal and your passion when I cannot talk about my problems with you? I can't talk about my problems with you because I'm ashamed. Yes? I'm ashamed that I don't even want to embarrass my husband who has taken all the money I received from the financial institution. How?
That's a challenge. So I've been part of because the social worker in me is always out there looking for women especially.
Yeah.
And I've supported, with my husband, we have supported a group of women with some other friends within the church environment. And I learned that one time we gave some people capital, and then they reached home, they realized they didn't have food for home. And then the lady is coming with flour. You're planning that the person is going to start a chapati business. And then they reach home and there's no food. You've given them maybe sugar, those samosa, chapati, chips. So you've bought all those that look like capital. Then they reach home and there's no food. And so you look for the lady after a month and you're like,
what happened?
What happened? We got the space for working, we got the items for working. I don't see you there. Then she's, we didn't have food at home, so my husband said, how can we go and put things in business when there's no food at home?
That one is even lucky enough to tell you that. Others will tell you things are complicated. They'll not even get into the details. They'll tell you things,
Sibyangu.
Yes.
So it's really a challenge. So what we are now trying to do is that when we reach out to a woman and say we want to help this lady with a business or with capital, I have also, like when I'm doing chips here, I pass behind and also drop some bags, some kgs maybe of maize flour and maybe beans, so that there is another thing just to ensure that this
they
business
don't dip into the capital.
They don't dip into the capital. But also the way we are talking about harnessing and networking, when people come together, there's some sense of accountability. When people are in a circle or in a village group, whatever it is, there's a sense of accountability. When somebody wants to dip out their capital into something else, there's a way they will have that sense of, what am I going to report back? Because we are trying to have those structures up to the minimum, just near neighbors. And there's a way it creates a sense of accountability. Somebody gets to know that, oh, I'm going to be asked about this.
Yes.
So in a few cases, there are those who keep quiet with their issues. But as to a great extent, women are wired to speak.
Yeah.
We talk a lot. It's just sometimes who you're talking to.
Yes.
And there are times people take what a woman has spoken and they turn it around,
twist it,
and use it to their disadvantage. So those cases cannot be totally, brushed aside, because this is community, this is true life.
Yeah.
But to a great extent, when people, especially women, come together, we have the capacity to stick together, which men don't have. Men can't sustain. They can't sustain looking at each other. What are you even talking?
Yes, yes.
Like we're meeting in the evening, I will have something to say.
Yeah.
Either my children, my garden,
yes,
my parents did this. There is something women are always talking
about.
Which
is something we really treasure. Yeah. We can never lack something to say, even the very quiet ones.
Embossy is always there,
yes.
So because of that, then can we turn this conversation into economic development? Can we turn this conversation into productive activities? Yeah. So when we meet, what are we talking about? So we try in our environment, especially our church environment, to try and not just talk about Jesus loves you, but beyond Jesus loves you, we are trying to empower the women. So I have reached out to women who have the skill. Yeah. And I'm telling you, it is amazing that you have on the other side of the table women who are wishing, can somebody teach me or train me about this? Yeah. But they don't know who that is and how to approach that person. So if you can just be the bridge in between, get on one side this lady who is good at bagias, daddies, cakes, chips, mogos, samosas, and get to this other side, a lady with a zeal but with no opportunity on how to put this zeal into place, and get them small capital. I've told you, I've seen even capital of as small as, like, what you think is small, 50,000, 100,000, turn stories of women around.
Josephine, 50,000 is little to you. 50,000 is a lot.
Okay, it's a lot, but for capital, like, it can make a difference. Like, you go and get 4 packs of flour, 1 liter of cooking oil, maybe 2 liters of cooking oil, a sigiri, and you bring it together. It amazes you how women have the capacity to save, even if it is 2,000 every day. And by the time the week has ended, somebody has 14,000 around them. It makes a lot of difference. So for me, my issue is that, can we identify mechanisms of bridging? Creating that bridge, that we have the bank here, we have the women with knowledge here. We have women with zeal but no skill. Then we have women who have access to capital but they don't know where to put this capital, and close in together. Close in and bridge in those gaps, so that at the end of the day we are all winning together.
It's so funny because it's so on point. Yes, because 2 days ago I had a conversation with an amazing young lady who actually keeps tuning into women in business and watching. And she said, oh, I loved this episode. You talked about ABCD and this. And I said, so what do you do? And she said, I have my small, I make daddies, I make this, I make that. She's also employed within a school. Yes? And I said, so are you registered? And she said, oh, I'm getting to that point. And I said, so you are within a school. Have you reached out? I'm assuming that you supply these who are boarders. Now, what she said is so apparent. It's so stuck, just as it was stuck then. Because I said, this is an opportunity for you. And she said, I haven't tried that. I said, but this is your #1 resource. You are already within this system. So this is the very first place that you should be, because this is your home. These are the very first people you should be looking at. Come to the administration, tell them, can I give my daddies here and my, hard corn, because the market is already here. And then she said one thing. She said, I don't know. There's a way you can pick it up. When a woman says, I don't know, we always know at the back of our minds. So we even break it down. She knows, but she doesn't know how to voice it. She doesn't know how to voice it. So the very first thing that went to my mind is, what don't you know? You know, and then she started breaking it down. I am busy. I have just brought in my sister to help me with this and that and A, B, C, D. I said, but you can get up earlier, wake up at 4 and make these daddies and all this, and then dispatch them to this place that you're taking to, or to the canteen, so that even as you are at your full-time job, you still have money coming in. Because you need that money coming in. So whenever a woman, because we have so many women who want to do something, the zeal you talked about, they already are passionate about the skill, but I don't know. And when they say, I don't know, they don't know where to start from. They get overwhelmed, and if they are getting overwhelmed, they decide to sit on their talent.
And it will amaze you that even women who you see they're educated corporates. Yes. Corporates. Actually, it's a problem that side. Yeah. Because as people get into the corporate world, there is that feeling like, I have got a job, it's paying me, I'm okay. Yeah. But we need to shift from domestic mindset. Yeah. And I see that's where most of our problems are as women. Please, we stress are very it. Domestic mindset. We need to move to woman. Business mindset.
Stress it to the woman watching.
It does not hurt you to have 10 streams of income.
Yes.
But we still have corporate women. I talk
one
because
dimensional,
I work with
one dimensional.
One dimension, you ask them, okay, so you've been earning a salary for the last 5 years. Yeah. What do you do? Nothing.
Yeah. Like, I'm tired all the time.
I'm tired all the time. I don't have this. But you have a sister who is asking for money every day in a village.
The money is not enough.
You have an auntie who is sitting somewhere at home with some skill.
Yes.
They can do embroidery of something. They can do beading of something. And they just want 100,000. Like somebody who can rescue them and enable them to kickstart. Yeah. Why don't you stretch your boundaries? Because if you brought somebody else and pulled them up, then you reduce your 50,000 that maybe you're sending to the village every month to 30,000, because you've got somebody to another level, you know, and build the business, you know, circle within the people that are around us. But most likely, it's not.
It's not what happens.
And the dependency ratios in this country are getting higher every day. Yeah. So when you have one person employed, you have 20 people celebrating. Yes. Because
and waiting for it.
And waiting for it, because they'll just make one call. There's this, there's the other, and you one person, you're sustaining this. But if we can learn that we are in a community and approach our earning, whatever we are earning, with a communal mindset, that let one person lift the other, it will actually reduce this dependence. Yeah. But when we keep having one big success story in the family, and the others are not, you know.
Yes.
I've had people who, especially when you read these books of, you know, these economic gurus in the developed countries, they go identify their society and they say, I'm going to make others wealthy. Yeah. So that when I don't have 1,000, I know I have 10 people who can lend me 100, and I will raise the 1,000. Yes. So is that the mindset that we are growing, especially for the ladies? Do you have 5 friends around you as a corporate woman who, when you're on a bad day, whom you can call and say, I'm here, I need 100.
Josephine, you're looking at me. You're looking at me. I want you to look at this lady, because I have had conversations with corporate women. They are so stuck. Please
corporate
talk
women,
to them.
Let's come out of our, you know,
one-dimensional
thinking. You don't lose anything by having additional sources of income and streams of resources. We have a farm as a family. I have commercial property. I am working. I have community activities that, the reason I started them, I've bought popcorn machines for people. And we try to tell these people that, can you save 10,000? And from your popcorn machine, keep the rest, bring popcorn machine. So it's a way like you're bringing it back. And we expect you to bring 10,000 every end of the week from this popcorn machine. I'm not just keeping it. It's because I want, first of all, this person to be accountable, but also, too, to be able to have sustainability, that this 10,000 that somebody's bringing can buy for the next person a popcorn machine. But also I'm reducing the dependence so that this woman is not coming to you every other day saying, mpako mitwalo, mpako mitwalo ebiri. If you count that mitwalo ebiri times 5, it is 100,000. And if you put this person and ask, where do you stay? So many times I get people in church who come and ask me, sending us school fees. Ask them, where do you stay? Then they describe for me where they stay. I'm like, in front of where you stay, is there like a road? Are there people who pass near there every other time? Are you behind buildings? Are you in a place where you can do something? Then somebody says, yeah, ninako chino, ninana chiri. And there are women, I wake up in the morning with them and we go to Owino. 5 a.m. in Owino, and we go and buy second-hand shoes, you know? And I say, we have these shoes for men, these shoes for women. What is your market like? These shoes for children. Who are the people you relate to? And like you said, women come from communities which are church, women group, burial grounds, and there are things which you can always do in these places. So I normally want to ask women when they come to me, where do you come from and what can you do? So I'm going to give you the 10,000. I will not give you. I will give the 10,000, but I don't just give. I don't just, hey, Mutwal, it's okay. I always want to get around this woman and understand how can we get you out of that situation? Don't be stuck in it for a long time. How can we get you out of that situation? And when it comes to corporate women, there's fear of you are in an office, who is going to supervise for me my things?
We were going to I was going to talk about that. One, because, let me even preempt you. One, because the conversations that I've had, I have literally 2 friends, tried out, put in quite, a lump sum. And one of them is afraid to restart. Because she has had a nasty. She came in with a lot of passion. And every time I try to tell her, you know what, you can start again, she says, I want to, but I have to be 130, 150% sure that this time. And she has been 150%, sure, waiting for that 150 for the last 5 years. Because of something that went wrong almost 7 years back. But she is still number one is, who can I trust? Number 2 is, how do I manage to balance? Because you want to micromanage. So in one way or another, you want to have this, but then you don't have all the time to come back and see exactly what is happening. So you end up literally, regurgitating the same losses because there is no person you can trust. Even those ones that actually bring in family members also are crying the same thing.
They still have issues.
Yes?
Yeah, there's that challenge, of course. I have been, like I've said, in a space where I'm not just an employee now, and it had always been my desire to be an employer of labor. So I have people that I have brought in at the farm. We keep their birds, poultry, and they disappoint. At the business, they disappoint. Even in my own home. So I've had times when I get a house help come to my house. I sit them down. I tell them, nobody wants to leave their home to go and work in another person's home. There is something that has driven you into this. What is your dream? What do you want to do? So I sit with my house helps and we start defining. Of course, I have a Christian angle to it, but also I go financial. We pray together.
Better than you found them.
We pray together. I learn to pray for their children, their parents. Just because if then their home is not okay, most likely they will disappoint you. You will come to office and they'll tell you, and they will leave your home. So I have a Christian angle to it, that I learn to pray also for their needs and their desires as a family. But from the financial perspective, I try to teach them, this is your salary. What can you do in your home? Is there poultry that you can start? You buy one bird, you know that every month, by the time you finish your 1 year, you'll be having this number of birds, and maybe even you'll have sold and replaced. Or are you in a situation where you have no one at home whom you can trust?
Yes, that's also another thing.
If, like the way you're saying, the corporate women, if you find yourself in a situation where you have totally nobody around
look
you.
In the camera and talk to that
where you don't have somebody you can trust. We are in an era where we have other opportunities that have been created. We have unit trust funds under insurance companies, UAP, ISEA, Sanlam, any of these. Just walk into them and ask about unit trust funds. We have some of these even under like Stanbic. We have the Bank of Uganda that has always declared treasury bills and treasury bonds. You get your money, it may earn small, but it is in a safer place. It is earning. So I will encourage especially corporate women not to be having an account where you're just having a salary, drawing in there every month, and you're saying, you know, I'm happy now I have raised 5,000, now I have raised 10,000. Let that money make more money. You're better sitting down and budgeting your money. If you earn 200,000 in a month, you are better off sitting down, budgeting yourself and say, my budget in a month is 50,000 or let's say 100,000. So you get this 100,000 into a unit trust fund. And these are 10%, 12%.
That's
you know,
good.
Yeah, you know. So get it into a unit trust fund. It keeps running. It is earning more money on it. It's not in a business. If you know that you don't have that business, you know, risk venture kind of, you know, mindset, but let it be somewhere. Start somewhere. Let it earn an interest in a way. Don't just leave it to totally sit in a savings account. It's good to save, but you can still save when that saving is still making more money to it. So we have, of course, SACCOs also that have their own interests. So you can still start somewhere. So there are businesses, of course, which are highly risk averse, especially those that get easily expired. Food, people who are into food, people who are into you know, products perishables that can die quickly. But if you have an opportunity to go into beading, embroidery, and these are things which as women, we have an opportunity. We have friends, we have workmates, we have churchmates who we can always sell this thing to. Build an additional skill to yourself, you know, build an additional knowledge, make yourself better and get your products out there, especially those that are non-perishable. Put it in your bag and sell 1 or 2 things to a friend, you know.
These are not only we've literally talked about, we've hinted because we don't have so much time. You know, we've talked about the evidence that is there that you get to see during your research. We've talked about the real, and I love the real life examples because the real life examples are things me and you get to go through. And these are things that are they are core, they are pertinent issues on women in business. What is the way forward? What is the way forward? Cutting across in just 1 or 2 minutes. What is the way forward for the woman that wants to thrive? Yes, the woman that wants to thrive, because we get to talk to the women that are thriving. We get to talk on this particular show. We get to talk to the women that are thriving, those ones that are telling you, you know what, I've lost it, but I will try again. The ones who tell you, oh my goodness, now that you have told me this, I have to go and register. And then there's that one who tells you, I don't know. Yes? So we get to talk to all of them. And the I don't know lady, you have to literally read what she doesn't know and give her the options. You can't put words into her mouth. You have to let her literally find out what she doesn't know and be able to identify with her and let her know that there are solutions in case she needs them. But now, what is the way forward? And looking at our mamas up, who are still having challenges in the village, who are still having challenges, they are moving on, they are literally donkey working, but they are also happy in their marriage, but they would want something else. Like one said, my mother went through this burden, my grandmother went through this burden, I am going through this burden. Yes, we found her, you know, tilling in a garden. And my daughters will go, one of them is actually already going through this burden. So it is a burden that we women carry. That is what she said. But that there's another narrative. We have to learn to change the narrative. Yes, we love our homes. Yes, we love that we are women. Yes, but we must change the narrative in a way that does not put us at a loss. Why am I saying that? Because in most cases, the feminist methodologies sometimes, not all the time. They get to look at it through the lens, one particular lens, yes, especially within a patriarchal society such as the African traditional society. You know what I'm talking about, yes? And then at the end of the day, these empowerment drives sometimes backfire, not all the time. Sometimes they backfire. And the same woman who came in very confidently and happy and saying, I want to be part of this, is the same woman that says, it is my marriage that I love as well. She says, at the end of the day, I live in a family. My mother lived in a family. My grandmother lived in a family. I'm not going to have conflict with my husband because of an empowerment drive. So long story short, just in a few brief minutes, what is the way forward? How do we make this sustainable, very sustainable?
Yeah, thank you. I think, one, we need to be resilient. Women need to be resilient. When you look at our mothers, they didn't have the opportunities that we have today. So we need an aspect of resilience. We need to be, to reach out there and learn what is new.
Yes.
To pick interest in new knowledge.
Yes.
To be researchful in our ways. Get to know if this did not work, why didn't it not work? How can I make it better? Reach out to our social networks. Yes. Maximize on them. Every time you are called for a birthday party, go with something. Go with your daddies, go with your hankies, go with shoes, go with, necklace.
Yes.
Because
aggressive marketing.
At that point, most likely, people will want to spend.
Yes.
Every time people go into parties, they're in the spending mood. So be a woman who comes with something. Be out to listen to programs like this and hear from women who have, walked this journey so that you sharpen yourself and see what opportunities are out there. But also what is important is let's trust in ourselves. There's development without, when we say government, the government can do everything, but if you don't trust in yourself, this government cannot build trust in you. No. Love yourself, trust yourself, and reach out for the world. Thank you.
Oh, I love these conversations. There's always something new you can learn. But also at the same time, whenever you learn something new, learn from it and do something.
Yes.
You can sit and have people tell you and talk to you, and government brings the ducks, the chicken, and even the knowledge and the linkages to resources. WEP is there. And then at the end of the day, you are still tutandikiriwa government etuyambi. What have you done? Please pick something.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Josephine. It has really been a delight. Time always rushes so fast. We haven't even finished this, right? This has been Doreen Kemcha on Women in Business. We're always so delighted to have you. Please share with us, what are your thoughts? What would you want to see? Get onto our social media handles. This is Smart 24 TV, Women in Business. Until next time, bye-bye.
Thank you.